Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so in this section of the RAT course, we're going to finish up the Remote File Manager. So you might notice it's a little different on the graphical interface. That's because I've added a couple things. So we're going to take right back off from where we left off, and that is on the graphical interface. So on the graphical interface, you'll want to make sure to add an extra T-image list. So I know that we already had our file icons image list, but you also need to add an image list 1. Just add another image list, okay? And just leave it named image list 1. That'll be fine. So a couple of things, guys. I've also added a group box, and inside of that group box, I've placed 2 labels and a progress bar. This is going to be used to show downloads and uploads, okay? I'm not going to be asynchronously doing both upload and download for this sample, but I may go ahead and provide links to other projects which show you how to easily implement two-way upload and download at the same time, etc., etc. But for this, we're just going to stick to basic stuff, and it does upload really fast. So for those of you who are wanting, it to upload or download really fast, it should do okay. And I can always help you out if you come to me if you need some assistance or something to make it do it quicker. And I'll be showing you how we're doing it in chunks. But in any case, so just make sure that your graphical interface looks just like mine. I've added a folder icon to the form. So if you click on the form to select the form, you can go down to icon here and you can choose your very own icon. I chose a folder, okay? So make sure you do all that. Also, we're going to go into the first image list, okay? So make sure that the list view 1 component, make sure that its images property is set, or its small images property is set to image list 1, okay? So this image list 1 should be assigned to list view 1. This flat icons thing, this should actually be assigned in a couple different places. So let's look for small images, which is file icons on the list view 2. So list view 2, make sure you assign flat icons to list view 2 small images. And then also we're going to worry about the pop-up menu 1 and the pop-up menu 2. So on the pop-up menu 1, make sure you're on image list 1. So this should be assigned to this. Now on the file icons, I believe that should be assigned, actually on the pop-up menu 2, we're just assigning image list 1 as well. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into the image list 1 and see what you should have in here, okay? So you guys can download your own icons if you want to. Mine look like garbage. I really need to download some better stuff because some of this isn't showing up correctly, and I don't really like that. So it's up to you guys. This is just an example. This is all just for example purposes, so I really don't care. This is just something I do in my spare time for free to help you guys out. So I'm not going to go out and find nice looking icons. I just don't care. So here is a hard drive, a folder, a close icon, some sort of an edit looking icon, hard drive, which I put in number 4 as well as number 0. A refresh icon, a back icon, something that means to encrypt, something that means to unlock or decrypt, something that means to download a file, something that means to upload a file, something that means to execute an executable, and something that means to execute an executable in a hidden state or hidden mode. Okay, now let me explain why I put all those images in there. If we open this up, for the pop-up menu, we've got all these things like back, refresh, all this and that. We're assigning the image indexes of each of these. See this right here, this number 2? See, we're assigning those icons in that image list to their appropriate pop-up menu item, right? So here, let me quickly give this a run, and I'll show you what it looks like. So we're just going to wait here. Okay, and then I'm going to go here. So this is what the file manager looks like. So if I right click, you can see I've got delete folder, rename folder, list drives, refresh directory, back, all that good stuff, right? So then on the right hand side, I've got rename file, delete file, encrypt file, blah, 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 blah. It's got all the good stuff, right? So basically, that's why we're having the icons. We need them to show up whenever we right click the appropriate stuff. Okay. And we can go into, like, you know, C drive, we can go to users, me, then I can look for my desktop. I've got a testing folder around here somewhere. And we can right click on stuff and we can rename stuff. You know, we can rename it. We can delete it. We can encrypt it, which is actually really cool. Are you sure you want to encrypt the file? No, I'm not going to encrypt it right now, but I'm going to show you this stuff later, guys. And we can also execute this file. So if I execute that file, it shows, hello there. You know, we opened it up, see? So, all right, I'm going to close this out because we're not done programming. We're not done developing. So let's get back to it. Just a sneak preview for you boys. So basically, make sure that you've got everything set up just like this. Now, we're going to have to take this from the top. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you, this is a lot of back and forth programming, okay? Like, for every single thing that you do here, like for example, I'll show you the delete folder functionality. If we send a command called del folder, which means delete folder, with the current working path of where we're at, then we're going to have to receive that on the client socket in its handle command event procedure. So like right down here, we've got list drives, we've got delete file right there. So this is delete file. I think I've got another one down here for delete folder, which matches the del part, del folder or whatever. And it's around in here somewhere. Here it is. So we can see that, you know, we have to receive all of this stuff, guys. So we've got rename folder, delete folder, we've got rename file, we've got encrypt file, we've got decrypt file, we've got file upload complete, letting the server understand and know that their file upload has been completed. We've got file data to handle chunk data. We've got ability to upload the file. I mean, guys, it is just a massive amount of stuff. So for that reason, I'm not going to be doing any programming in this video, because if I had to sit here and program all this for you guys, it would take me probably an hour and a half just to get through all the coding while explaining stuff to you. I would rather just scroll through it and explain it as we go, okay? So let's pop back over and start from the beginning, which is understanding the basics of the file manager system, okay? So no coding for now. Let's talk about how we're going to do this, because let's pretend that no code has been written. Let's just pretend it's not even been done yet, right? So a lot of you guys are probably going to be having trouble wrapping your minds around, you know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to keep up with where I'm at? Because think about it. Here, look, watch. If I run this, okay, even though mine's done, let me run this for you guys and show you something. The thing that's really going to bake your all's noodles is probably trying to figure out how the hell you're going to be able to like keep up with this. Because like, see, here's the thing. If I go into my C drive, you see how I've got all this stuff in here? And I've got like Ultimate Defrag 6. So what if I go into users? Well, see, now I'm in C users. Well, what if I go into Bitmaster Zor? Well, now I'm in C users Bitmaster Zor. But what if I go into local settings and there's nothing here, but check it out. Like, what if I want to go back? Well, I got to go back, right? I got to go back from local settings to Bitmaster Zor. So boom. You see? So you have to figure out how you're going to do this. It's really simple, like super, super basic. All you have to do is have a global pathway to where you're currently looking at, and you need to be able to parse it for these backslashes and be able to just erase text and go to wherever you need to go based on where you're at. So if I want to go to documents, I can go to some sort of Camtasia. These are all recordings. And see, I've also copied the direct icons correlating to the files that we're looking at. So it's dynamic. We don't have to ever worry about, if we don't have a specific software installed on our computer rather than opposed to the client, it doesn't matter. The client still sends the icon exactly as it is. Pretty cool, huh? So, so I can go to audio, there's nothing in here, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. And then I'm back to C pretty much. Well, I want to go back to the drives. If I try to go back again, nothing happens because we're not even in a path, you see? We're looking at these. So I'll now go to, like, I'll just go back to C, go into games, Hitman 3. See, it even has the proper launcher for the Hitman stuff for my game. So we got retail and all this stuff. See, there's the game right there. And these are all DLLs that go with it. Pretty cool, huh? And I can also refresh directory. I can list my drives, just go straight back to path 0 and list my drives. And I've got all this really cool stuff we can do. Still need to update my code to make sure these stay updated, but I won't worry about that. But anyway, so yeah, figuring out how we're going to keep up with where we're at. So let me kind of show you what I did, okay? So in the code, I've created a global public declared variable called current working path, and this is a string, okay? So if I highlight that, we can go down and look everywhere in my code. You see these little ticky things over to the side? When you select something in the Delphi IDE, if you got it set up like I do, you can actually see the location of all the instances of that word or phrase or variable or whatever you want to call it. So whenever we update the path, we actually just do it basically on the double click event of this list view component, this list view 1, where we're actually double clicking and going through the different files in our structure, right? So on DBL click stands for double click, right? On double click. So if I go to double click, we're saying that the selected directory that we're trying to go into is our current selected caption of this component that we clicked on. So it's going to be wherever we're trying to go. The current working path, if it's nothing, then we need to understand that we're at the drive level, which means that it's like, C:\\, D:\\, drive letters, right? So we have to set the current working path equal to the selected directory, which would essentially be the drive that we actually went into, C:\\. Now, if we're already in a directory past that subdirectory point, meaning we are inside of a hard drive, we are actively browsing the internal file system of a hard drive like C, D, E, F, whatever, then that means we can come down here and we can start working with stuff. We're saying that if the length of the current working path is greater than 0 and the current working path's length is the current working path and it doesn't have one of these, then we're going to simply say that the current working path equals the current working path plus one of those, right? Then we're going to append the selected directory to that path. So we're going to say the current working path equals the current working path plus the selected directory that you selected inside of this. Pretty cool, huh? So no matter what you do, this will always be kept up with, which is really cool. So then at this point, we're just updating our path down here at the bottom, like right here saying, hey, we're inside that path now, blah, blah, blah. And we're just clearing out all the previous results. And then we're asking the client to list that directory to us. And that's it. That's literally it. And guys, this will be repeated, like this bottom part here for update this and clear these and ask the client to send us back over something. This code is probably written like 99 times, like no shit. It's the same thing. Every time you make an action, every time you make a change, every time you delete a file, rename a file, encrypt a file, well, maybe not encrypt a file, but anytime you make actual changes to a file system, like if you delete something, if you wanted to create a new folder, whatever, you would want the client to reload that directory for you and send it back over the socket. You see? So in this case, we have rename file. So if I were to rename the file, that does it. You see that, guys? You see that? It does it. What about delete file? Yep, it does it too. See that? We're going to sleep for half a second and then load, and then try to make it load in again. What about encrypt file? This should not have it, but I think I did it anyway, just to be safe, but it's really not necessary. I should probably just delete this, to be honest with you. In fact, you guys can. There's no need to do it on encrypt file or decrypt file, because think about it. You're just encrypting the file's contents, really. You're not renaming it. You're not moving it. You're not deleting it. You're not doing any of that crap. You can take this out if you would like. Okay, I'm going to leave it in just to be safe, but you can totally take that out and it'll be fine. Decrypt file, see, I did the same thing. I was being lazy. I just pasted the same shit in. Again, not necessary for that. What about download file? Download file, you really don't need it for this either. I may have included it. Nope, I didn't. So I did a good thing there. But what about upload file? This one I may have messed up on because I probably needed to put that in there. Oh, I did. We're good. So yeah, if you upload a file, you've changed something. You've put something to them, so you need to refresh their directory path. What about execute file? Nope, not needed there, because all we're doing is executing a file on their computer in normal mode. But what about hidden mode? Oh, well, all we do is execute the file hidden. That's it. It's that simple, boys. So yeah, and we're going to go through this, so don't freak out, guys. We got a long way to go. I'm just kind of getting ahead of myself. So now that we've focused on how to keep up with paths down here and inside of that inside of the public declaration of current working path, that essentially is the #1 key to keeping up with everything. Okay, guys? Like, if you have a string here that keeps up with the path, you're going to be just fine, because you can manipulate that string however you want to be able to understand how to keep up with where you're at. Now, some of you guys might even be wondering, well, Bitmaster, bro, this is cool and all, but why the fuck would you have done it like this? Why would you have put it where you have to double click over here to go anywhere? I mean, why not make an edit box like why not make an edit box up here where you can type the path and hit enter and just go there? You can, guys, you can totally do that. This is just an example. Like, you guys can totally do whatever you want. You're the Delphi devs. You can do it. I believe in you. So all you got to do is drag this bad boy down, put yourself an edit there, and boom. On the edit box, make sure you put an on key down event procedure or something. That way when you press the return key on your keyboard, or VK return for virtual keyboard return, then you've got it. You know, you can just make it browse there, and then this will change, and then ask the client to send that directory, and boom, boom, they both change, and there you go. Problem solved. But I'm just leaving it like this because I wanted to keep it simple and confined. That way you guys could easily grasp what's happening. Because you can look through my code, which I will be commenting before I upload too, by the way. I'm not going to leave you like this with nothing. I'm going to make sure to comment all the lines. That way you guys completely understand what the hell I'm doing. But in any case, so that's that. So when you double click on this, that's when that is when stuff changes. That's whenever you're changing the current working path and updating it and asking for list directory from the client. Now that I've covered how we're keeping up with the current path and how we're sending list directory, let's pop over to the client real fast, and I'm going to go through that code with you because it's time. So when we're looking through this, we need to find list directory, right? So because when we send that over, that's one of the main #1 things we're constantly asking from the client, which is right here. So we're doing, we're checking if the string list count of the commands. See, it's going to be list directory and then a pipe. You see that? See, like we're doing list directory and then a pipe and then the current working path that we would like to list out. Okay, so this is really important, guys. This is super, super important, okay? So if it's less than or equal to 1, we're going to exit. Meaning, obviously, the command had some sort of malformed data in it, and I'm just doing a simple check to make sure, hey, we didn't actually get what we needed to get, so we're going to exit. But if we did get the list directory command properly, we're going to proceed with our code. Now, it's quite a bit of code, guys, so this is kind of gonna bake your noodle just a little bit, because we have to create all these internal variables. Then we have to go down into the code, get the file attributes, get the different attributes of the file. We have to get all of the icons, the small icons, We have to create an icon and a bitmap and put it in a memory stream and set the length of that data, read the buffer into a memory stream. We have to then free all the dedicated stuff that we had to create to get the icon out and extract it properly. Then we have to append that data to the command that we're going to be sending back and receiving on our side. So guys, let's just start over, okay? Let's just start over. I'm going to explain it all to you. But before we do that, I'm going to go to the graphical interface here. So remember how we put the file icons image list here? Okay, so if I double click on that, you see how there's nothing here? That's because we're going to be using this as memory storage for all the icons that roll through here for each of the things that come from the client. You kind of get that, guys? Because see, look, down here, I'm actually getting the icon for the file. I'm actually getting the icon for that file right here, right? Technically speaking, not the else part, but this is all getting the icon, right? So like, I'm getting the icon right here, and then I'm appending that to the actual command that we'll be sending over, right? So when we do get the icon and all this stuff here, let me go back over here. So when I get the file's name and I get the file size and I get the file's attributes and I get its date timestamp of last changed modified, and I'm sending it over the socket, but I'm also appending on icon data to that as well. That icon data will be parsed by the socket on our unit 1 here in our command handler. So like wherever we receive it down through this code, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to toss the icon inside of this. You see? Then I'm going to list out the stuff here. I'm going to list out the name, the size, the attribute, the last changed modified. And then I'm going to say, hey, this list view too. Look here, buddy. I want you to look at this and get the icon index out of there for the item we just threw on there. And that's subsequently going to place the icon from the client's file system onto that item appropriately from the file icons t-image list. So that means it's just simulating like the ability to hold an icon for a second while we slap it down and then throw the icon on that item to represent that item that just came through the socket. Pretty cool, right, guys? You kind of get what I'm going with it right there, right? So on the client, let's go ahead and start reading through this. We'll try to make this as quick as possible because I know that a lot of you guys, I'm going to be giving you this code anyway. You can go through it yourselves. It's really not that difficult if you'll read it line by line. It's super basic to understand if you'll just wrap your mind around this stuff, okay? So this is the command structure. I'm saying list out the directory. Now, I've made this this list directory thing a very powerful statement because not only does it list the directory, it also gets all of the information regarding the attributes. It gets the icon data. It gets the command prep to where it's going to send back. It combines the data with the icon data, and then it sends that over with the combined data. You see that? So guys, really all you have to understand is, seriously, you guys are more than welcome to look through this, but here's the thing. All I'm doing, literally, is getting the directory path out of the command structure, and I'm just saying, look, go here, grab this, look for all the directories in there you can find, and if you find a directory, we need to add directory. We need to tell the server to add a directory. Well, where does that happen? Well, on the server, the directories show over here on list view 1. The files show on list view 2. So on this, we're saying, look, loop through the entire file system of where the guy wants us to go to. If it's a directory, send this command. Otherwise, else, it's going to be a file, which means we're going to have to get the file size, get the file age, get the file attributes, get the file icon, blah, 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 blah. Set the length, get the data, combine the data of the icon plus the text that we're sending. In other words, the file name, size, attribute, and blah are all text. And then the icon goes inside of this bad boy, and then we slap it on there with an index, and that's it. So that's what this stuff does. That's what it's doing. So it says add file, right? And then after it sends the text, like this all stuff right here in this format, date, time for year, date, year, month, date, hour, minutes, hour, minutes, seconds, all that stuff, then it combines these two and sends just the icon data last. You kind of get that? So then what's going to happen is we're done. We're going to until find next. This is a Windows API call to keep looping, like find the next file, find the next file, find the next file, find the next file. It goes boom, find the next one, boom, find the next one, boom, find the next file, until there's nothing left, in which case we're going to finally close that API on our search record and stop doing stuff. And then we're going to go end, exit, and we're done, right? So that's it. That's all there is to it, guys. That's that entire command explained. It does two things in one stone. It first of all gets this command, loops through. If it finds directories, it shoots the directory names over to us so we can show them up here. Also, it's responsible for getting all the files attributes and all the file stuff. And then, all Humpty Dumpty and all his men, all that shit. I'm just messing with you boys. But yeah, so it gets all that shit and then it throws it to us. And it's also responsible for sending us all the data and the icon data as well. And that's it. That's literally it. Okay, so now whenever it comes through, it goes boom, boom, directory. It might say directory, file, directory, file, directory, file, file. You see what I'm saying? So, and it does it so quickly because it's looping so fast, like, So then on our end, we're getting all of the directories and all the files, all the icons are being appended to their respected item. You see? Okay, I think I've explained that enough and well enough where you guys are totally getting it. So now we have the basics down. We're able to loop through this stuff. Okay, so here, let me run this again. And I'm gonna run the client as well. So guys, now that I've explained just that basic two things, the keeping up with with where we're at, the path, right? So see, and whenever I did that, it was so fast. It just instantly did every one of these and every one of these. It almost looked like nothing happened. It almost looked like it was just instant, right? And that's because I'm local hosted, by the way. Just so you guys know, if you get someone across the world from where you're at, you're probably going to receive these a little slower, which is something I want to talk to you guys about right now. Now, I'm going to put this in the background, but this type of sending, receiving is primitive as absolute shit. I just want you guys to understand this. Like, whenever we do the double click thing here, so like when I'm doing this and we're sending like list directory, and then on the client's endpoint, you know how we're like going down here and listing, like deleting a file or whatever, downloading a file, all this type of stuff. But most especially the list directory one. This is probably the worst written up shit you could possibly do. Now, it works because I'm trying to make it more visual so that learners can understand what's going on. But guys, you need to understand something, okay? This is not a good idea. This is awful. This is so garbage, I feel like throwing up. And I'm going to explain why, okay? So on this side, on your here, let me go to this and I'll just show you. So like every time I double click on one of these, like skins, for example, boom. See how it came in, but it took a sec even on localhost. That's ridiculous. And it's because we're sending each and every single one of these, like we're going send that one, send that one, send that one, send that one. You see what I'm getting at? It goes boom, 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 boom. And even though it happens really, really super fast, this could be made better. Okay? This is absolutely ridiculous as shit. Okay? And the reason for that is because this is not how a professional would do it. Not at all. This is pure garbage, okay? Because think about it. If bandwidth is an issue and you have someone across the planet that you're trying to, help or like go into their file system or whatever, you don't want to receive one by one from them, because if you do, hell, anything could happen. I mean, their internet could go out. You could have issues receiving them in and out of order. And to prove that to you, here, watch this. If we go back, if I go C and then go to users, Bitmaster Zor, you see how this is all laid out right here? I'll go back and then Bitmaster Zor. Oh, wait, it's different. You see that? It's all different. Look at that. Like before, there was like up here, I could see my my desktop here somewhere, but it's gone. It's down here. It's right here now. But that was up here earlier. You see, it's out of order, and the reason for that is because we're performing asynchronous operations on an async socket, and it's the roll of the dice. Whichever one returns the result first, or gets called first, it did those instead. This is so awful. It's unbelievable. Now you guys might not give a damn. You guys might look at this and go, Bitmaster, I love it. Like I love it so much. Like, okay, that's great, but it's shit. Like, this could be made so much better. I just wanted you guys to understand from my viewpoint, okay? So here, let me close this out. Here's what you should be doing, okay? Let me show you. On the client, like, so you, on the server, you ask it's, for it to do it. You say, hey, list your directories, Mr. Client. I want you to list the directory of where I'm going, okay? So the client should say, okay, Mr. Server, I'll do that. You should do all of this. Create two separate lists, one for directories and one for files. And then at the very bottom, that's when you should send both entirely, okay? As a stream. You get it? So like you guys should be sending the entirety of the files, the directories, everything should be sent as a T-bytes over a memory stream or something entirely. That way, when you double click or when you see any changes here or here, it's going to be instantaneous and it's going to be both sides. Okay? Like you're going to get the directories and the files and their icons and everything all at the same time, and your CPU will process it just instantaneous. It'll just be boom, done. You won't be relying on bandwidth and the hopes that the remote person's computer is still trying to respond to asynchronous requests or sending asynchronous socket data to your computer, to your server. You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to explain that to you guys because I feel that that's a really big deal. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm glad we got over that. Now, we're already 33 minutes into this, and we haven't even really started. So we're going to have to get knuckling down. I'm going to have to show you guys all of these, like the delete folder, rename folder, listing of the drives, all that shit. Actually, we'll do the list drives one right now because it's just the same thing. All you do literally is just clear out all your past results, send the data to the client saying, hey, list your drives to me. Set the current working path as nothing, because remember we're trying to list at the root directory of all of our drives, and then just update the panel and say our current working path is nothing. So list drives. So once we come to the client, we're going to try to find this command, which is right here. I'll highlight it right there. So we get list drives. We're going to say C as a character. We're going to loop from A to Z because, as we all well know, Microsoft Windows has drive letters ranging from A to Z. We're going to check if, this is just my way of doing it, guys, and I find that it works really well. You just check if a directory exists of the character type that you're looping through, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z, and see if it's there. See if that is an actual directory in Microsoft Windows. Because if it is, that means you can add that drive letter of the character of whatever you're looping through, and that means that it'll show up over here. So on the client, we're sending add drive letter, right? So we send add drive letter. That means on form 1, on whenever the socket receives command, we can do that like right here. So let me just go down and I'll show you. See, we're doing add drive letter. Okay, and it's that simple. So we're adding a drive letter from the client to the cloned file manager form that it's responsible for. So guys, again, all this code is exactly the same bullshit that we've done 100 million times. We've got I as an integer, user data, list item to add it to, blah 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 blah. We're granulating it down to the person that we're talking to. Looking in, once we've granulated it down to the person we're talking to, then we're going to granulate it down even further into their cloned form that we would like to apply this to, right? Then we're going down and we're saying that we're going to say with the cloned form, do the following. The list item will be adding it'll be responsible for adding an item. Its caption will be params1, which if param0 is the command, so that means param1 must be the drive letter, and it is. Look, add drive letter, that's the first parameter, and then the drive letter is the second parameter, right? So that means 1 will be the drive letter. And then the image index will be 0 for the hard drive icon. Now let me explain that to you. On this image list, remember placeholder 0 is a hard drive. See? It looks just like a little hard drive, right? That's why I put image index of 0 hard drive icon. I put a little comment there for myself. I kind of got agitated at one point in time. I kept changing the image indexes around because I thought I would use something better, but I just stuck with the shitty little icons that you see. So I apologize for that, guys, by the way. If you guys have any icon packs for me to use in future videos, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you a kiss. A big wet lickery one. Okay, I'm just fucking with you. All right, so there we go. All right, so that's that. So now I've explained that to you. Let's move on to some other stuff. So, and again, guys, it's the same principle. It's just a phone call, a serial communications between computers, if you will. Data flows back and forth, and that's it. So on this, the delete folder statement. So when we go here into the code, we're saying, look, we're going to say that for this, we would like to show a message, current working path plus the caption. Actually, guys, I'm actually going to remove this as it's not actually necessary. So what I'll be doing here is just, you want to send to that client, hey, I want you to delete this folder, okay? And you're going to say self.currentWorkingPath plus a backslash plus the current caption of that folder that you selected here will be deleted, right? However, I do notice a problem, and I would like to fix that right now. If current working path is nothing, exit. We do not want to accidentally try to delete hard drive stuff. So we're going to say, we're just going to put if current working, here, let me just control space. If current working path is equal to nothing, then exit. We're just going to simply exit out if that is nothing. If we're at the root level. Actually, I'll fix this. I'll fix this later in the final edition. I'll put something there for you guys, okay? So don't worry about that for now. But anyway, we're going to delete the folder. So we're going to send the command to delete folder, and we're going to send the path that we would like to delete. Then we're going to sleep for half a second or so, and then we're going to clear out of our previous stuff, and we're going to ask for the refresh of the directory. Now, this is essentially just simulating a refresh, if you will, okay, of the current file system, right? So the delete folder, let's go and copy that. let's go to the client and let's look for delete folder, which is right here. All of this, right? So when we delete the folder, we're checking to make sure the count is greater than 1. If it is, great. We're going to have a variable called directory to delete. By the way, this is an inline variable, and I got to tell you, I have rarely done this in Delphi. These inline variables like this, rather than putting them at the top with everything else, like these are how variables are supposed to be declared in Delphi. Like I don't normally do that other stuff. I normally don't put an inline variable like this down in code. It kind of bothers me, but I did in this case because I built this compiled with Delphi 12.2, and we do have the ability to put inline variables. So I'm trying to get better used to it because it'll be just kind of like a little bit more like Python and scripting languages where you can actually declare a variable right where you're going to use it as well. So I just put directory to delete is a string, and that string is equal to SL1. So delete folder and the folder to delete. Get it? Or directory to delete, whatever you want to call it, right? I queue up a thread for the main VCL thread to execute whenever it can, and then I'm stating that we're going to use Windows API to find the name of this folder and get the directories buffer, and then we're going to delete it. So basically, the successful operation would just simply be that the operation equaled 0, which means it did actually execute. So all of this, when we call these API file operations to delete the file for the directory buffer, we're literally just deleting the file. So this thread, this tthread queue, essentially is responsible for deleting the file somewhat in the background, if you will, of the async socket execution flow, if you will. Okay, so this just deletes the file. Okay, and that's it. Once it deletes, on this end, we're already waiting half a second. So while we're waiting our half a second on our end, this is actually deleting the file already. And then once it deletes, probably before our half a second is even over, we're just clearing out our results on our end and asking the client for a refresh of the current directory. So it would simulate it like this. And here, I'll show you. Let me run this real quick. We're actually going to do this. It's going to be great. Okay. So this is going to be really, really cool, guys. Check this out. So like if we run this, and I'll wait for this to pop up. So there we go. So once we go into this, here, let me pull that over. So we can go in here and we can go to users, bitmaster. I want to go to desktop and I want to look for the testing folder. So you see this test thing right here? Here, let me execute this real quick so you can see. This is what it looks like. It's just a notepad with hello there inside of it, right? So I'm going to right click on this and delete the file, okay? So boom. And I would like it, I put a little show message type thing, like a little Windows dialog box to say, hey, are you sure you want to delete the test file? I can click no and it'll cancel all operations and no socket communication will take place. Or I can click yes and we're going to delete that file. So if I click yes, we'll send a socket command over saying, yeah, delete that file. So I'll go ahead and delete the file. And as you can see, it literally did it almost instantaneous. And if you'll notice, when I open my testing folder now on my desktop, there's nothing here because we deleted the file. So I'm going to recreate this file. So here, watch this. I'm going to recreate this file, test, and I'm going to open it up and go, hello there, smiley face, save. So now I'm going to pull this off to the side where you guys can still kind of see it a little bit. I'm going to refresh this directory. And as you can see, we have the ability to refresh and we've got the test file back in there, right? So, well, what if I want to do some other stuff? Like I can rename the file. Here, watch, I'll show you. So I'll rename the file, test.txt. Let's rename it to YOLO. Okay, and I'm gonna hit OK. And there you go, YOLO. And look, it changed it, see? So if I right click on it again, we can download said file. So guys, I'll show you the demonstration of this, but I'll go ahead and download the file. So we'll click here. Let's upload a file. Actually, what do you say? Let's upload a file first. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to find my Bitmaster YouTube intro that I always use, like about 3 megs. I'm going to click open. Oh wow, it uploaded almost immediately. So it really super fast. And like as you can see, it did upload and it has bytes in it, so we know that the upload succeeded because it's the exact size and everything. Plus, if you were to view like you know, some sort of like larger icons, you can tell the video is there. If I double click it, it does play. So I'm going to basically right now, I would like to delete this though. I want to delete that file. So delete it. Okay, great. And then I want to show you guys some cool stuff. So let's just go through this right now. So if I open YOLO, you guys see how it says hello there? Okay, so what if I want to encrypt that file? Okay, so I'm going to encrypt the file. Now it's gonna ask, are you sure you want to encrypt the file? Yes. Well, what encryption password would you like to use? I'm just going to put test 88. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so now if I try to open this file, see how it's all encrypted? So that means this file has been completely encrypted by our encryption algorithm that we're using, which is triple desk keying option 2, and I'll be getting to that later in the code. So, well, if I try to open it over here as the user, oh shit, I can't see it. It's encrypted, right? So how are we going to fix it? Well, you can decrypt it. You just decrypt the file. Are you sure you want to decrypt the file? Yes. And what was it? It was test 88, I believe, is the decryption password. So if I hit OK on that, then I can execute that, and it says hello there. We've decrypted it. Pretty cool stuff, right, guys? So we can encrypt, decrypt, really cool stuff. So if I go here and I want to download said file, I can download that file to my desktop. I'm going to call it yo, so we know it's different, right? And I'm going to hit save. And I downloaded it. Now I get that it's not really all that much simply because it's just like a 14-byte file, but it did work. And as you can see, I can open up yo.txt from my desktop and you'll see that it is there, hello there. So upload, download, all that works. And you're able to, you know, execute all this stuff. I can't really, I guess I could try to show you the execute hidden, but it doesn't really work. Like you can go to Task Manager and look for like Notepad and stuff, but I assure you it does work. Namely with executable files, not text files. So execute file just does a shell execute, and if something has a default program, it'll run it. If not, I haven't really done too much programming in that. You can make it as advanced as you would prefer. You really can. But yeah, so I'm going to go back. Perfect. It is absolutely beautiful, guys. So that is that. So that is a full-blown example of what you can do with this bad boy. So, and you can take it to any level of extremes that you'd like. And like I told you, this can be modified to be the most amazing remote file manager in the world. All you have to do is have a little creativity and make it better, because as I told you, this is dog shit, to be honest with you. This is absolute crap. And some of you guys might be like, damn, like, you know, like you're able to make this and do this, but you call this dog crap? Yes, I do. This is like learner material. This is what people need to see to be able to say, oh, I get this is deleting a file. Oh, I get this is listing a directory and grabbing all the stuff and whatnot. But ultimately, this should not be, sending data like this over a socket takes up bandwidth. Like, don't send whole words like this. Don't do what I've done here. Make it smaller, make it shorter, make it use less RAM, make it instant, make things stream with buffer streams. Don't send text back and forth like this. It's stupid. Just make your own command structures and make them better, because you will enhance the speed of your RAT like 1,000,000 times fold. I hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you when it comes to that. But in any case, let's talk about how I did the how I did the encrypt and decrypt file, okay? Then we'll move on to the download and upload and then the execute, and that'll finish us off, okay? So for the rename file, obviously, we'll do this one real fast. I did rename file, and then on the client side, I found where we had rename file. So like this would be right here. So if we rename the file, we go file old, new, blah, blah, blah. We rename the file, and that's it. And then on this side, I simulated a wait and then a refresh. And guys, we're just repeating the same stuff over and over and over. Like, see, check this out. So that's the rename file, delete file, same thing. We do delete file. I already went over this with you. We send it over, we delete the file, I simulate waiting on the server, and then we refresh. And now I encrypt file. Okay, so let's do this. This is going to be interesting. So for this, on the client side, you guys need to drag 2 components onto your form if you're going to be using a VCL like this. So the cryptographic library 1 and a codec. So a cryptographic library and a codec. Both can be found on your LockBox VCL tab. Okay, you've got a hash, you've got a codec, a cryptographic library, and a T-signatory. So just put the codec down, put the cryptographic library down, click on the codec, go to properties, make sure that its crypto library is set to cryptographic library 1, make sure the chain mode is CBC star, and the cipher is whatever you would like it to be. But I used triple des keying option number 2. So that's that. Make sure you save, and then you can continue on with this. So basically, this is encrypt file. So I'm going to select that. But let's go back over here. So when we click on encrypt the file, we're saying we're basically saying the file to encrypt is the current working path plus the file in list view 2 that we selected right here, right? So like whichever file we clicked on, right? So we're saying send that over, like ask us, our response is going to be a string, an integer based on the message dialog API of Microsoft Windows. So basically what we're doing is popping up a message and we're saying, hey, are you sure you want to encrypt this file? Yes or no? And we're saying that we're adding the caption of that file's name in there too. And then this is a confirmation box. So we're trying to find out whether or not the person has clicked yes or no. And if the response was yes, or if the response was no, we do an else. So if the response is yes, then we're going to say password is equal to another input box, file encryption. Enter your encryption password, right? So we're asking for a password to encrypt it with. If the password is nothing, then we're going to, if the password is not nothing, sorry, then we're going to send the command. Otherwise, you didn't enter a password, right? You kind of get that? So we're shooting over the command, encrypt this file, the file to encrypt, and a password. So this is 0, the command, 1, the parameter for the actual file to encrypt, and 2, the password itself. Now, encrypt file. So boom, that goes to this client. The client gets the command to encrypt the file. We're checking to make sure it's a valid command. The file to encrypt is SL1, which is 0, 1, 2. Remember how we talked about it over here? This is 0, 1, 2. 2 is the password. So that means the password is 2, SL2. The file to encrypt is SL1. Then we come down and create a T-thread queue, and we're going to tell it, look, here's the encrypted file's name. You need to change it to .encrypted. Because remember, guys, you can't, whenever a file is open or being edited or messed with, you can't do anything with it. Because remember, Microsoft Windows bitches at you and says, hey, this file is open in another program. You can't do that. So what we have to do is make a copy of the file to encrypt and call it .encrypted at the end. Then we can set up our codex password to be the password that came through the socket. Then we can encrypt that file, the file to encrypt, to the encrypted file's name, and delete the original file, then rename our encrypted file to the original file's name, thus giving it the appearance that we fully encrypted just that one file and left it there by itself, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want. So, you know, whenever I encrypted my text file, you guys didn't see another file being created there, did you? Because it happens so quickly that we don't see anything happening. Like it just encrypts the file that you told it to encrypt. That's the outcome, right? So that's exactly what you want. So now that you understand how to decrypt, or encrypt, I'm sorry, we're going to learn how to decrypt. So that's the same thing. We're just going to ask a question. Hey, are you sure you want to decrypt the file? And what's the password to decrypt this file, man? Do you know what that is? And then, you know, then we say decrypt the file. And we're saying decrypt the file to decrypt, and the password. So decrypt file, that goes to the client. The client gets the command to decrypt the file right here. And then, boom, it executes all this code. So let's explain what's going on. We're checking to see if it's a valid command. The file to decrypt is SL1. The password is SL2. Same exact thing, guys, that we did down here for encrypt file. Same shit. Then we're starting up a queue, and we're saying, here's the decrypted file name. We're going to put it to .decrypted. So again, we're looking at the encrypted file now, renaming it to decrypted. At the end, we're copying a copy of it. We're setting the codex password to the password that was sent over the socket in SL2. We're then decrypting the file for the decrypted file name to the file to decrypt. And then we're deleting the file to decrypt because we just decrypted it in RAM and we're ready to slap it back down on the hard drive. We do. So then after it slaps back down to the hard drive, we rename that file back to its original name without the decrypted or any of the other stuff on it. So it gives it the exact file that the person's looking for, right? And that's it. And if there's any exceptions or whatever, then we can just say, you know, we can say if the file exists, decrypted file name, then delete that file, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. We're done. Period. Any other exceptions down under this that handle everything and anything that happens wrong in all of this code, we're just saying handle the decryption errors here silently. We're not doing anything with them, okay? So you always got to make sure you're entering the correct password, guys. I didn't program anything in to check for that, so make sure that if you type a password in, you want to make sure it's right? Otherwise, you could have messed up results. It's possible, okay? Okay, so there's that. So that's that, guys. That's pretty much that. Let's go back to this. So I've explained rename, delete, encrypt, decrypt. Okay, the big one. This is going to be kind of a pain in the ass to explain. So download and uploading of files. So guys, let me pull open Paint. This is the best way I can do this for you guys, honestly. So let's say that we have a file. Okay, this is a file. Okay. So we have to chunk it into several chunks, okay? So there's so many chunks to deal with, right? So we gotta take this chunk and send it first, take this chunk and send it next, take this chunk and send it next, this one, this one, this one. We have to keep doing that in a loop, like loop, 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 all the way to the end, right? But first we have to take the entirety of it from both ways and say, hey, this is this size. It's 2 megabytes. So like that, right? So if this is a 2 meg file, we have to chunk it into, try to get it as to equal portions as possible, right? We're going to send those portions. Now, that's not necessarily true. You can do big chunks, little chunks. It don't really matter what you do, as long as you're ensuring the entirety of the file gets to the opposing endpoint. Okay, so this is essentially the logic behind this. We're going to take a file, cut it up into bits or chunks, what we call chunks of data, and we're going to loop through and go socket send that, send that, send that, send that, send that, until the file's done being sent. Then we're going to recreate the file on the other end. However, this happens in real time, as every single time you send a chunk of data, you're also writing that data from the socket to the disk in the first place. So let's go ahead and take a look at how I've done this. So let's look at download file first. Okay. So what I do is I tell it that we would like to open up or create a saved dialog, and then we would like to title it, get the file name. Here's the filter for all files because we want to be able to send anything we would like, anything we desire, right? And here we're gonna overwrite prompt, hide read only, and enable sizing, so the user can size it and do stuff, right? With the dialog box. And then we're going to execute and say if the save dialog does execute properly, then we are going to set the group box visible to true. So what that does is it brings this up where the user can see it because we're about to transfer a file, okay? And then it says the label 1 caption and label 2 caption is downloading that file name, preparing, blah, blah, blah. It sets the progress bar minimum to 0, maximum to 100%, and the progress bar is positioned to 0 defaultly to start things out. And then we just want to do application.process messages. This really isn't necessary, but I put it in just in case. So now we're going to create a download stream, which is a T file stream create to the local file path, which is the file name where we want to save this file that's being uploaded to us, okay? Or downloaded to us, rather. So now we create an anonymous thread to do all this work. And this anonymous thread has its own synchronous call to be able to change graphical stuff. So what we've got here is our remote file path is basically our current working path / plus the file's name. Then what we're going to do is say, look, download this file on the remote client. We want this file from you, okay? And we want to this handle. So we're saying download this file from the client, okay? We're then creating the download stream. We're doing f download stream as the download stream. The download file name is equal to the file name that's currently being downloaded or going to be. And then expected file size is 0 because we have no idea what it will be until the client tells us, hey, this file is this amount of size, so this is what you need to know what to expect before the download is complete. This is also, in a way, how we're keeping up with our progress bar status as well. Now we're saying, is the download active, true or false? We're setting it to true because we need to download it, right? Any exceptions, we create a synchronized event to say, hey, the download failed because of whatever reason, and the group box is no longer visible. Okay, so that's it. Kind of pointless if you ask me, actually, because if you put the caption to download failed and then make the group box visible false, then you're not going to see the fucking message anyway, but whatever. All right, so then we're going to do some cleanup. We're going to say the download stream needs to be freed, the download active is equal to false, and that's it. And then we free our save dialog as well, because we dynamically created it in RAM when we were typing up here, when we typed in, oh gosh, where did it go? Where we do the create portion here. All right, so this is all just setting it up, guys. It's just saying, look, download this file, okay? So the client, if we do this, the download file on the client, we're saying if it's a valid command, the file to send is SL1. Because remember on this side how we say download this file, 0 is the command, 1 is the file to download on the remote computer. This is the remote computer, which means it's going to say the file to send is this, and now we have to go through and create a file stream, create a buffer array of bytes. This is a 32 kilobyte buffer, okay? So that's exactly what I've done. So we're sending in chunks of 32 KB basically, maximum. Okay, and so whenever we do this, we're going to say if the file exists, if the file does not exist, then we're going to say there's a download error or the file wasn't found, okay? Otherwise, we're going to create a stream and we're going to go ahead and get the size of the file. We're going to say, here's your download file info pertaining to information on the file that you've requested from us, right? And we're saying, here's the file's name and the file size, okay? We're going to sleep for just about 50 milliseconds, and then we're going to repeat sending chunks, boom, 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 until the download completes, Okay, so on our side, download file info. Let's go back to this side. I know, guys, you're probably like, oh my God, bro, like you're losing me. Like it's literally like you have to send and receive so much info, it'll knock your socks right off. So this is where I'm receiving the download file information. So we're getting the file info of the file's name and also the chunks, like the file size, if you will. So I'm granulating down into the cloned form responsible for doing all this, right? And I'm saying that I'm storing the file information that we're trying to get. So I'm saying the name of the file is this, the expected file size is this, the received file size is nothing because we haven't even started receiving it yet. And then the last progress percentage is also nothing because, again, we haven't started receiving it yet. And then I'm saying the progress update is equal to now. At least we can do that much, stating, hey, we're just now starting a download, right? And then we're synchronizing, updating the UI, saying, hey, we're downloading this file, and the caption is we're starting the download, okay? And then we're breaking out of that and we're doing nothing. We're just going bye-bye, right? Okay, great. This is fantastic. So far, we're actually set up for success so far. So we started the download, and now, like I told you, we're in the repeat block right here. So we're repeating to send the chunks, boom, 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 until the bytes read are less than the size of the buffer, and in which case the download is complete, okay? So we're saying bytes read equals the file stream dot read buffer, size of the buffer, the entirety of the buffer. If the bytes read are greater than 0, then prepare the chunk data to send, right? So right here, the chunk data are T bytes. We're gonna set the length of chunk data to the bytes read, move the buffer from position 0 all the way to the chunk data 0 to the end of bytes read. Then we're going to send the chunk. So we're going to say client socket, execute command, download data, which is a chunk, right? And we're going to put the bytes read plus the chunk data. So quite literally, this is just metadata information. This is saying here's a chunk of data for you. Okay, here's the bytes read, the amount of the chunk, and here's the chunk's data. You get it? It's really simple, guys. So check this out. Download data. Look, copy that. Download data. Go back to the server. Right here. See download data? So we say if it's a legitimate command, data size becomes the param1, which is the data size of this chunk. The header's length is the length of download data params1 plus a pipe. We have to, guys, because we're sending download data, pipe, plus this, plus a pipe, we have to get rid of all this trash, this segregated garbage that we don't want in our data. So that's why I'm doing this header length. So basically, we're going to process just the chunk data, and I'm going to explain this to you. So if the data size is greater than 0 and the header length is less than the length of a data, obviously we need to proceed and we need to separate these out. So we're going to say the chunk data is T bytes. Set the length of chunk data to data size, which is params1, right? We're going to move a data's header length from chunk data position 0 to the end of data size. So now we're going to go into our thread and we're going to say, go ahead and loop down through here, get to the cloned form that we're trying to mess with, and we're going to say, once we've locked onto that cloned form, handle that downloaded data of this chunk data and this data size, okay? So this is actually a handler on this form. I've created a procedure on the cloned form itself responsible for handling that chunk data that we passed from the socket on form 1. So we pass the data to this form, to this procedure, and it's T bytes and size. So we're saying percentage, progress percentage is an integer. If not actively downloading or not assigned the download stream, exit. We don't want to do anything. We're not downloading anything, right? Otherwise, we are downloading. So we're going to say the download stream, write buffer, data 0 to the end of data size, update the received size. So we're going to say increment, which means add, increment the received file size to the size that we just got, okay? Calculate the progress percentage. So if the expected file size is greater than 0, obviously we're receiving something. Percentage, the progress percentage is where we're going to round the received file size divided by the expected file size times 100%, because that is what we're expecting in the progress bar. We want to see real-time progression of the download from zero bits and bytes all the way to whatever the fuck the file size was supposed to be in the first place. Then we're saying else, if this doesn't work out properly, we're just going to put else progress percentage is equal to nothing because it hasn't even done anything yet. So we're going to update the UI only when the percentage changes every 200 milliseconds, right? So if the progress percentage is greater than the last progress percentage we received, or the milliseconds between, using the tdate library up at the top here, using the date utils library. Otherwise, we will we're going to use the milliseconds between now and the last progress percentage update are greater than 200. Then we're going to update the percentage. We're going to say the last percentage is equal to progress percentage. The last progress update happened just now. The progress bar's position equals the progress percentage of what it is now. And then we're going to update the caption saying, here's your progress in this format for kilobytes and whatnot, right? Receiving like current per second kilobyte, blah, 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 right? So we're doing this progress percentage. This is the format right here. Progress percentage, received file size divided by 1024. And then we are also doing expected file size divided by 1024. This is just a formatter, okay? It's just showing you kilobits per second, blah, 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 right? Like how much you've received, right? And then we're going to process messages because this is a time critical, this is basically a time critical thing, because while the download is actually in play, it'll be like we have to update the application graphical interface like over and over and over and over and over again. So this is actually a decent way of doing that only when absolutely necessary. And because it's time critical and we're downloading and whatnot, I wanted to make sure that the application does process all messages before proceeding for the next 200 milliseconds, okay? So that's why I put the application.process messages right there. Not a very good practice, to be honest with you. I can't stand application process messages. It has an evil side to it too, just so you know. Okay, but in any case, if there's an exception of any kind, this is just us handling some errors, okay? We're just simply saying that if there's an error, we're going to say the download failed with the failure message. We're going to free up the stream. We're going to nil out the download stream. We're going to turn it to false. We're not downloading because we fucked up. We're going to create an anonymous thread, sleep for 2 seconds, and then we're going to turn off the group box synchronously, like synchronizing with the main VCL graphical interface thread, telling it, hey, look, we're not downloading, so go ahead and take out the group box 1 visible. Make this go bye-bye, right? And that's that. So guys, I know, this is a bit like, this could have been simplified a lot, but I tried and I tried. I just wanted to I wanted you guys to get the visual, and I probably made a big mistake doing it this way, but it works. It works both ways, like in terms of download, upload. I did this practically the same way. So let's go back here and look for upload file. So this is the same thing, guys. I'll tell you what, I'll spare you, okay? I'll spare you. It's the same logic both ways. So like what I just went over with you, like the, server says, hey, do this, download this file. The client says, here's the file size and all the shit and blah, 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 blah. server makes up a percentage-wise calculation, and then the client repeats, boom, 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 here's a chunk, 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 until the download is complete. When the download is complete, and this is the only thing I didn't go over with you, this would be like here. So when the download is complete, we just simply want to update. We want to granularly get down to our cloned form. We want to free the stream, nil the stream, download active becomes false because obviously we received the download. Then we're going to synchronize with the main VCL thread, and we're going to say, look, here the caption of this is download is complete, create an anonymous thread, wait 1 second, and turn the group box off. That's basically it. That's all we're doing. It's just finishing up a download. It's very basic shit. And that's that. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. I think I've covered just about every aspect of it. It's very basic stuff, and you'll have the full source to this, so there's no reason to fret. I mean, you'll have everything I've got. You'll be able to look through my stuff and see how it works. Really not that difficult. You can even change this to be a bigger group box and support multiple downloads at the same time if that's really what you want to do. Really cool stuff, guys. You could do as many uploads and downloads at the same time if you really truly wanted to. This is just keeping it basic for you guys because I didn't want to confuse you too badly, and it's already bad enough as it is with people that don't understand like asynchronous programming and how to send files and stuff. Like, just for them to wrap their head around this already is kind of going to be a bitch. So I'm going to try to comment this before I upload. So definitely look through the comments, okay, guys? Because I will comment it as absolutely best as I can. Every bit of this will be commented, okay? Every single last bit of it. No exceptions. So I'm definitely going to do that. And our RAT is actually becoming, just on this remote file manager alone, is 840 lines of code. This one on the unit 1 is pretty big. It's actually getting to be around close to 3,000 almost. And then the client is actually running at about 2,370 lines. The only problem with that is that, honestly, all this shit is basically auto-generated, to be honest. So really there's not really too much programming going on, just between the beginning and ending structures. So in any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'm going to run this again just for shits and giggles. We can run this one as well. And once this pops up, I'm going to minimize that. We can basically just get this person, go to Task Manager, and we can go into C drive, go to Users, Bitmaster, Desktop. We can go Testing folder, YOLO. We can execute that. Hello there. We can delete it, rename it. See, I can rename it. I can literally just, do blah, 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 blah. And there you have it. And then I can upload it, download it, encrypt the file. I could say I want to encrypt it. ASDF is the password. If I execute this now, it'll be all scrambled. See that? And then if I decrypt it with this, I can go ASDF, boom. And then I can execute that file and it'll be normal again. See that? So pretty cool stuff, guys. I would say that, overall, I mean, even just for demonstrational purposes, this is actually not a bad project. I will be fixing a couple things. Like, as you can see, like when you're in this path and there's nothing here, it's saying there's 24 directories in one file. And size is 14 bytes. So these two are fine. The problem is the directory one. I'll go ahead and make a refresh thing to fix that so you guys won't have to deal with that garbage, okay? But other than that, I will also delete this file. So I'll delete it. Boom. I can try to refresh the directory. Nothing happens because there's nothing there. I can go back a directory. So yeah, this is some really cool stuff, right, guys? Really, really cool. So here, let me pull this back up and close it out. So really, it's actually become a pretty neat little rat so far. We're actually getting a lot of different features up in here for people to learn how to do and deal with. here, let me pull this up real quick. See, we've got desktop capture. We've got some microphone capture ability, so we can actually get microphone data. We've got task manager, where we can refresh the task manager stuff. By the way, guys, in case you're wondering why the window goes behind the other windows, we're going to fix that, okay? We're going to make it to where they're all singular by themselves. So don't freak out about that. I know that's probably been annoying the whole time we've been coding this rat. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that in probably the next video, because it's actually kind of getting on my nerves too. So yeah, for this, then we got the file manager. So now, you know, we've got the ability to go in here and kill processes. We've got the ability to screen capture the person. We can listen to their default microphone. We can go through their file system, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is some really cool stuff, right, boys? I mean, really cool stuff. Now we can encrypt files and do stuff like this and that. Man, this is getting crazy, you know? Just for a basic little YouTube demo rat type thing, for someone teaching you guys for free, this is actually pretty damn cool, right? So I'm going to close this out, and as you can see, it literally closes all the windows, and there you have it. All right, so guys, I'm thinking for the next round of stuff, I'll look through all of your requests and stuff that you've done. I'll look through it all and see if there's anything you guys really wanted me to get to. But we have a long way to go. I mean, we really do, guys. We have a super long way to go. Basically, we have to do like reverse shell. We've got, you know, SSH type stuff to do. We've got, oh God, we've got system information to grab. We've got different types of dashboard type stuff to go through and learn about. We've got, oh God, guys, if I sat here and listed it off, I don't even know how long I'd be here talking to you guys, but we got a long way to go. This is nothing. Like what we've done with audio, desktop, file manager, task manager, remote webcam, all that crap, this is nothing. Like guys, this is literally nothing at all. Nothing, period. Like this is garbage. We've got so many thousands of miles to go before having like a completed and amazing rat that it's not even funny. So I just want you guys to know that, and we've got a long way to go. So if you guys want to support me, please get your friends to watch this stuff. If they're interested, have them like, subscribe, because, you know, if I'm not able to get to a point where YouTube might, you know, pay a little dosh for this, I don't know if I'll, you know, keep this going forever. You get my point? I mean, I love you guys, but I'm doing this for free. I would like, you know, to make a little something for my time. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying I'm going to quit. We've got a long way to go, and I'm really passionate about this stuff. So don't be down about it. Just try to help out by sharing it with your friends. Get them to view my stuff. Join the Discord if you would like. It's probably in the description of the video or whatever. But just try to support in whatever way you can. Again, also another thing, I've had a lot of people hitting me up recently who basically just want me to write code for them. Guys, honestly, if you're going to hit me up, like, I'm a nice guy and all, until I'm not. You know what I mean? Hitting me up and asking for, you know, bad stuff, it's not going to happen, okay? I'm not going to sit here and write, you know, entire, like, stuff for you that would likewise be paid for on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to slave for you. I'm here to teach you because I'm an educator, okay? So I just want you guys to understand that. If you hit me up, you know, don't be annoying. Don't constantly hit me up to write stuff for you. Don't do that. I'm making these videos for you so that you will think outside the box for yourselves and learn. That's why I'm doing this, to get you guys doing this stuff. I've been doing this stuff over 25 plus years. I mean, you know, this, to me, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. And to you guys, it will become nothing because it's going to be very basic and simple for you guys to remember all this. Coding a rat, honestly, guys, there's nothing to it. It's literally just a socket communication. It's literally sending a command from the server to the client and, you know, just battering back and forth, just boom, 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 back and forth, right? So I'm doing all of this to help you guys in learning all of this stuff. If you're new, that's great. I'm here for you, but I'm not here for you to do it 100% for you. Yeah, I mean, if you take the code from these YouTube videos and just use it, that's great. I'm giving it to you. You're not stealing it from me. I'm 100% giving this out for free. But understand the following. This code is trash. Like, this is in no way, shape, or form my best work. This is like free time. I threw it together and threw you guys a bone type thing. And it works. It's cool, but in no way, shape, or form is it like grade A material. You know what I mean? Like, I'm expecting you guys to look through this code and say, okay, Bitmaster, I totally get it. Oh my God, it's so simple, you know, and then go write your own tools. That's what I'm trying to inspire you guys to do. You see what I'm getting at? And by the way, guys, this is actually kind of bothering me. This little column right here is kind of bugging me. It's like, it's not actually centered. And I know there's a way to center it, but I'm too lazy to go look it up right now, so I'm just going to do that. But in any case, all right, guys, it's been a great video. I hope you really enjoyed. The file manager stuff is really, really cool. But like I said, we have a long way to go. I mean, a super, super long way to go. So I will be planning some future videos here really soon. I'll try to keep them within a couple days release if possible, but I have been super busy lately. So guys, you're just going to have to bear with me. If I don't post videos like every other day, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to plan this stuff out a little better, because today I honestly feel pretty bad about this video because I wasn't able to sit here and program it because it's such a large feature set with this. Like, there's so much to do and so many commands to shoot back and forth that if I were to sit here programming it out with you, like in real time, it would have taken probably 2 hours. Like, it literally would have taken 2 hours plus a little extra for all the explanation that I'm doing. And right now we're already an hour and 26 or 27 minutes in, even with me just explaining it. So, you know, for that reason, I just want to try to keep these videos short, simple, to the point, and make it super easy for people to understand. I hope that I'm explaining this in really good ways for you guys. One other thing I'd like to touch on real quick is the open dialog and the save dialogues right here. Really, they're not necessary because in the code, I actually do the opposite of this, which is to create. I actually created a tsave dialog right here in memory. So the save dialog really isn't necessary simply because we never really called it. You see what I mean? So I just want you guys to notice things like that. I did this on purpose. I want you to see this. Like, I want you to be like, yo, Bit, why would you need that if you didn't, you know, in code, you didn't even freaking call the damn thing. You just made a new one right here, see? Like, I want you guys to catch stuff like that. I want you to see this because it makes you pay attention to detail. Attention to detail is extremely important in computer programming. Computer programming tells a story. If you're a really good storyteller, you're going to be a really good computer programmer. You see what I mean? That's my claim anyway. All right, guys, enough's enough. I'm sorry for battering this out there to you for so long. I'm going to go ahead and end this video out. I will be commenting the code. You will see the download link in the description, so just look down there and you'll find it. You guys are more than welcome to download the source, run it for yourselves, follow along, etc., etc. Also, one other thing, just real fast. The codec. So if you guys have been wondering throughout this whole video, like, oh God, like, I don't have a codec or a cryptographic library. Well, how do you get it? It's really simple, guys. You go Tools, Getit Package Manager, and then type in LockBox in the search. LockBox. And it's this one. It's LockBox version 3, 2024.08. At least this is the one that I'm using. There are later editions of it. I'm just using this one because I didn't have any issues installing it. So I just clicked install and it installed. Okay, and that's it. And then you'll be able to find the LockBox VCL tab right here with all your stuff on there. And then you can drag and drop the cryptographic library and the codec to your client. And make sure, again, like I told you earlier, make sure you set the crypto library to cryptographic library 1, CBC chain mode, and triple desk keying option 2 if you want to do the same thing I did, okay? And that's all you got to do. The rest of the code, it's self-explanatory, okay? Well, guys, again, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Sorry it took so long for me to get it out. I've just been really super busy lately, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So, peace out. Have a good one.